Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics. In this video, I'd like to discuss the frankly farcical situation that we have with our exit from the EU imminent and everything that entails, that people on both sides of the debate are arguing about a bell that's not even in position and whether or not it's going to bong. So, some adult debates going on right there in good old Blighty. But first, if you'd like to receive notifications of daily news and political commentary, then please subscribe to the channel and click the bell and notification icon. No pun intended. So, key hardline Brexiteers were setting a lot of store by having Big Ben chime for Brexit on January the 31st at around 11 p.m. Mark Francois in particular, and an especially obnoxious Brexiteer, was leading the calls in Parliament for it. Nigel Farage has said it would be a national embarrassment if it didn't ring. And, you know, I said earlier this week, frankly, I couldn't care less. My issues with Brexit are the cost to the economy, the cost to people's jobs, to their healthcare, to their rights, to their very lives. What is not on my list of priorities is whether people in London, because I'm well out of earshot, whether people in London get to listen to a bell that under normal circumstances would be chiming at that time anyway. Frankly, given the imagery of Big Ben in the novel 1984, I'm amazed Brexiteers want it chiming anyway. And church bells have been used throughout history to warn of invaders coming to the local community. It's the sound of warning, not just celebration, and could be taken either way by those on both sides of the debate. But, and this came as news to me, ringing it would apparently cost £500,000. Now, at that point, I have a little bit of an objection, I have to say. Initially, Boris Johnson said that perhaps members of the public could crowdfund it, though when the appeal was launched, it managed about £500 in the first day, 0.1% of the figure needed. Mark Francois, he predicted that the full sum would be raised within 48 hours. This is the same man who said that people would take to the streets if Brexit were not delivered. And it just goes to yet again highlight how wrong he is about what the people of Britain want. You know, 2019 showed something extremely clearly. Yes, there are millions of people who will walk out of their door not very far and put a cross in a box for Brexit. Absolutely. But they won't go to any real trouble. They don't actually care that much. Whereas on the other side of the argument, you've got people travelling hundreds of miles in their hundreds of thousands to protest against leaving the EU. And this happened several times. It's crystal clear where the actual passion lies in this debate. The fact of the matter is that Brexit itself really doesn't matter to the vast bulk of the population. Even those who are sort of in favour of it and will vote in favour of it. You know, they won't pay to have a bell ring to people in a city which is dominantly Remain anyway. I mean, that idea was never going to catch on. When Nigel Farage said not ringing the bell would be a national embarrassment, he was wrong. It will be an embarrassment, but not for the nation, but for him and his ilk. The hardline Brexiteers who aren't content with having won whatever it is they think they've won, they want to rub it in the faces of the rest of the country who are opposed to it because that's what matters to them, being horrible to other people. They are the furthest things from patriots. You know, these are the people who seek to attack their own fellow citizens through petty acts like this. And it is petty, and I think it's petty on both sides. I also think it's petty for Remainers to object. You know, if the bell were to ring, it would ring at that time normally if it were in position. As long as the money doesn't come from public funds. Now that I know it would cost a lot of money, which sort of makes sense. I said at the time I didn't think the bell was even in position because it's undergoing maintenance at the moment. You know, I don't want £500,000 of public funds being spent on it. But if it was to be crowdfunded, I don't care. But Big Ben won't ring. It's not going to ring. As I said when I first mentioned this, you know, the bell itself is undergoing repairs, which is why it hasn't habitually rung. And apparently that £500,000 is the cost of the work needed to reinstall it prematurely, build various scaffoldings platforms, and to test it to make sure that they don't knacker the bell as soon as the first peal goes out. Because imagine the scene. If the stupid bastards cracked the bell on that very first chime. That really would be a great analogy for Brexit. The bells are going to ring for Brexit. Bong, crack. Oh, bugger. That's it. I mean, that's what they're doing to the country. Why not do it to a bell? But it seems there isn't time to do it anyway. It would take weeks, and they have to. So even with the money and the go-ahead from the various groups who would have to give their permission, it's not going to happen because it's not physically possible. Much like Brexit. It's still actually a really good analogy for Brexit. And so January the 31st will pass with the whole nation pissed off. Well, there'll be celebration. The bulk of us who are annoyed that our citizenship and rights, as well as future job prospects, especially for the young, is being stolen against our will, we're not happy. The Brexiteers, who should be delighted, will be pissed off because a bell that most of them would be out of earshot anyway isn't going to ring. Frankly, you could tell them that it did ring and no one would notice the difference anyway. Even Nigel Farage is pissed off because the party he's trying to throw is becoming almost as much of an embarrassment as his ill-fated march into London last year. So it looks like everyone's going to be miserable at the dawn of this new golden age for Britain. Who could have predicted that? So I hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, then please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.